Hey, what was your childhood like? Why do you ask? Oh, just curious. Again, why do you ask? Okay, so you're clearly not going to let me in. Forget I mentioned it. Intimidation of boundaries. This is an interesting subject. You ever ask somebody a question and then they ask you, why do you ask? Or have you ever been asked a question, maybe about something personal, and then you ask them, why do you ask? And then they're usually pretty short with it. They usually give up pretty quick. All right, forget I asked. I wish I didn't ask. I wish I didn't get myself into this. Well, then you're probably going to get yourself out of this real quick. Sayonara. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out, they are pathways to show people the way in. But the likelihood is that if you have set boundaries, if you have asked somebody why they ask, the likelihood that they've been repelled away is rather high. Something that I've been noticing is that I actually don't want to share everything with people. Boundaries. I get to choose what it is that I share with people. Boundaries. And if somebody is intimidated by my boundaries, or they get really upset about my boundaries, that's their shit, not mine. I'm getting a lot more comfortable with just being firm in my boundaries because I'm realizing that the only thing that I've ever had to lose throughout my entire life when it comes to boundaries is myself. It's not about being scared of losing other people. It's not about being scared of people abandoning or just losing interest. It's about me and what's most authentic to me, what's most important to me. When somebody asks you a personal question, when somebody asks you about your life, and you ask them why they ask, it's important to ask this question because it's better to get an understanding of why they're asking, of the sense of direction that they are intending to take. Do you know that you don't have to tell people things about your life if you don't want to? Do you know that it is not healthy to feel obligated to tell people things about your life? Did you know that if somebody asks you a personal question and you ask them why they ask and they get really short with you, that it's not a healthy dynamic? If you set boundaries, there is a pathway in to you, and it's fine. Then other people can ask you questions. And if you so choose to answer those questions, how you choose to answer those questions, why you would choose to answer those questions, that's what it's all about. It's interesting because somebody asked me a question that was, I would argue, personal. I don't know, maybe that's subjective for people, but somebody asked me a question that was personal. And I was like, why do you ask? And right off the bat, they were like, forget I mentioned it. Okay, fine. I'll forget you mentioned it. But just asking you why you asked. Why do you ask? Oh, because I just want to know. Okay. Boundaries are a really cool thing. They show me where I begin, where I end, what I am and am not responsible for. If I do or do not want to have anything to do with a person, boundaries are boundaries. What do you choose to share with other people? Why do you choose to share it? What does it mean for you? What do you want to create with that person? Are you aware that if you dive into a relationship with someone really fast, the likelihood that it's going to last is very low? Anything that starts fast usually ends fast. You get to choose what you share. You don't have to feel obligated to share anything. And also, a friendly reminder, you're not in survival anymore. So you don't have to forego your boundaries and be like, here's my entire life. In fact, the likelihood that if you do that, the relationship will end abruptly is very high. If you vomit your entire life at somebody, it's very fascinating how boundaries work. You may have not previously known that you get to choose what it is that you share with people. Throughout your entire life, you may have felt totally obligated to overshare, to tell everything to everyone. You don't have to. It's your choice. You get to choose what you want to do. And that's the beauty of this whole game of boundaries, this whole system of boundaries. Why flinch if you don't have to? Why set a boundary and then immediately erase it if you don't have to? Why be intimidated by other people's words if you don't have to? Why give in to manipulative dynamics in relationships of other people's words if you don't have to? Why not just ground with yourself and be like, holy fucking shit, this person is dysregulated and they think that they get to have a place in my life. And they're clearly showing me that they're just not an emotionally healthy individual. I'm going to reground with myself. I'm not going to share anything else with this person. That doesn't mean that I'm unhealthy. It just means that I recognize that this person lacks very necessary emotional health. I'll pass. Oh wow, look, that person is being unhealthy again. Shit. I'll pass. Oh wow, I could have predicted that behavior. I'll pass. You don't have to forego your boundaries just because somebody is intimidated, and with that being intimidating. Oh, this is the only chance you'll ever have in your life to tell me about your life. Cool story, bro. Sayonara. It's that way, not that way. It's definitely not this way. It's funny. People get intimidated by boundaries. People try to convince you that you're shut off from the world, that you have no capacity for connection because you wouldn't tell them something about yourself. You get to tell them whatever it is that you want to or don't want to. That's entirely your choice. See manipulative tactics and dynamics for what they are. That's it. That's it. It's very simple. Slow way the hell down. Just be present with how you feel in the presence of that person. Understand that. Be congruent with that. That's it. It's not rocket science. How do you feel in the presence of that person? What do you want to create in the presence of that person? Is that person emotionally safe? Oh, this is your only chance to share this with me. Nice sky. Nice bird. You hear that bird chirping? If it hasn't been made clear already, the purpose of this video is to communicate that if you don't want to talk about something, you don't have to. You're not obligated to. I would definitely encourage asking why somebody wants to know something about you. And then gauge the space. Be present in that space. Don't be intimidated by what they have to say. People have defense mechanisms. They have tactics. That's the way that it is. If it doesn't feel safe, leave. But you don't have to forego yourself and your boundaries.